What's up, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Just thinking we could put a video in the background that we're talking. This video is from their Siege. Nobody's seen this before. Something a little interesting while we're talking about MMOs tonight. Before we do that here, I suppose I could pop this up for y'all. If you didn't follow me on Discord here this week, I made this up here. This is kind of what we're going to be going over for tonight's stream. It's going to be a little bit more than this. We'll kind of see where chat takes us here too. But going overgearing or twinking. Twinking is like, say you're in New World and you're a level 60. You can build armor for, this would be, twinking would be you're level 60 and then you build level 60 armor for your level 1 character. Some games will allow you to do that, where a level 1 would be able to put on level 60 armor. Then we're going to talk about guilds. What to expect from guild members, what kind of content you typically do with guilds, things you should expect from a guild. So, that could be anywhere from what kind of donations you do for a guild, what does a guild entail in a game. And there's so many different MMOs that got different takes on this. We'll just kind of go over some of the ones that I've experienced and some that you guys have experienced. New player experience, we talked about this one a little bit last week, but we'll touch on it again here. Hopefully get, some comments on YouTube and a little bit here on Twitch. And what's your ideal class? What do you typically like to play when your group content isn't an issue? What do you like to be, tank, healer, DPS? Do you like to be a trickster rogue like myself? Like, is there something specific? Environments would be, do you like the open world? Do you like the one-way path type of MMOs? Where it's kind of predetermined. Crafting, like, what do you like in crafting? What kind of systems do you like? What kind of systems didn't you like from other MMOs? Excuse me. Quest breadcrumbs. Those are like, Neverwinter's got the sparkle paths and the question marks and exclamation points above people's heads. What keeps you coming back to MMOs? What makes you log on every single day? I think this is really, really important. Whatever else we kind of come up. Let's go back to our video here. Just get started on that first one, eh? So overgearing and twinking. Like I just talked about when we looked at the picture for the topics. Overgearing and twinking to me, and to most people I would think, would be taking a level 60 character, a max level character, making armor, and giving it to a low level character. Say you got a buddy in your guild that's level 50 and he's not quite high enough stats to do a dungeon or something like that, so you just craft him up some cheapo level 60 armor. What they're trying to ask, these are all pulled from the Ashes Creations dev discussions. where they kind of get it like a feel where the community takes a stand on most of these things. That helps them decide what kind of mechanics and systems they want to adjust and keep and add to the game. Also, it's good to see other people's viewpoints on some of this stuff too, you know? It's not everybody's gonna have the same outlook and mindset as myself. That's okay. Because everybody's vision for what Ashes to Creation even, New World, or any other MMO is totally different. So overgearing and twinking, my personal opinion on that, shouldn't be a thing. If I'm level 60, I should be able to make level 60 armor if that's how the crafting system works. If that's how the crafting system works, I think, you know, if you have to learn how to create certain levels of items and gain proficiency in it to make new levels of items, you know, that's balanced to me. One game that kind of does it all right is like Neverwinter. I could have, say, a warlock get to max level, and then I got all these astro diamonds, all this currency, so when I build another character, I can take those items and I can shove them over onto my other character. That I'm alright with, because you still have to level up to that level. But then you've already done the work on another character, so it's not, you know, that's not a big deal to me. But just going like level 1, slapping level 60 armor on it, that just doesn't even seem like that's something you'd want to do, you know? And I forgot how nice these castles looked. Sieges. Watching this video while we're talking, getting a little distracted. It's been a while since I've seen this video. This is before Alpha 1, I believe. Sometimes I sit back and I look at Ashes and I go, man, they're in Alpha 1 stage. Like this video right here, this is before Alpha 1. If this is how it looked when it came out, I'd still be happy. This looks pretty good. Like what you guys are seeing is in 1080p. I'm seeing it in 1440. Steven, who you're watching playing right now, did it on 4K. I believe he uses a 1080 Ti, which made me pretty happy since I have a 6800. One of the Radeon graphics cards from last fall. So I'm pretty confident the game's going to look pretty nice. Especially since I'm not going to be playing in 4K, it's going to be 1440, but it's pretty slick looking. Like, sometimes you look at these videos and it's like, you don't feel like they're that far off. How the dragon looks right here, like the ice dragon. The closest size dragon I've played a game with is Neverwinter. In like relation to your character, where the bosses just seem big. Cause I haven't played any World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or Final Fantasy Online. Some of you guys probably already know this, but I just built my PC here this year, and this is the first one I've ever had, so I didn't get to experience all those games like these guys did. This far as the overgearing and twinking go, I think that's really just kind of a straightforward kind of deal, you know? You either like it or you hate it type deal. Or you can be kind of 50-50 with it with me. It wouldn't be a game breaker for me, somebody that's using it. Let's talk about guilds, members, content, things we should expect. I'm just going to kind of speak on stuff from my past. So it must have been about 6 years ago. I was playing Destiny 1, which some might not think it's an MMO. I would disagree. It's not a sword and shield MMO. It's a shooter with raid content and PvP and blah 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 blah. And anyways, in Destiny 1 we had a Facebook guild, which was 6 years ago, running a guild on a Facebook page. You know, not the most ideal, but you know, you got linked up to other people on Facebook and you get into raids and stuff like that. Schedule content to do with other people. One thing I will say about Destiny and their like raid content, that was always, for a PvE player, that was always their push. So getting people that were like-minded have always been beneficial for you when jumping in a guild. One of the biggest things for me when I was trying to find people to play with is, do I enjoy playing with them? Are they playing at the same times as me or around the same times? And are we getting what we want to get done? It's like, I may like everybody I play with. Let's take Ashes of Creation for example. I might like the content we do, and we might play at the same times, but maybe the group just doesn't click together. That's nothing you need to be, you know, angry about. You know, you should be, it's a game, you know? The game for MMOs is all about meeting new people that you would never meet in your entire life without this game. Already in Validus, there's a couple guys that I've talked to just recently, and I've been in the guild almost a year now, where it's like, you know, you meet some nice guys and that just doesn't happen. You know, I'm in small town Minnesota, and without video games, specifically MMOs, you could do this with any video game really, but just video games in general, you wouldn't meet those people. I just think that's real cool. I actually got a kind of a story that I was telling the guys here the other night. I worked at a gas station when I first moved to this town, and there was a guy that I talked to. He came in every night and he bought a couple monsters, and we were talking when I was at work for about a year. Come to find out one night, he was the dude I've been playing Destiny 1 with for a year as well, because that was when it came out. It's like, small world, you know, like what are the odds that you've been talking to somebody and had no idea they lived a couple blocks away from you, you know? But that just shows you the power of like the community of video games. I think it's really underrated, the people you can find, the amount of things you can see. As far as like what I expect from a guild, I've never ran a guild, so as far as that goes, I wouldn't really know what to expect. What my assumptions of running a guild would be it would be a lot of very time consuming community driven stuff. Right now the guys at Validus, they got 2 Discords going, one for New World Ashes of Creation. They're chatting up people, they're finding content, you know, they're helping me, myself, try and get out to you guys, try and find, you know, get me a little bit of a jump start. You know, helping me push out content to you guys, things to talk about. So I'm new to this. As a guild leader, it seems like what you would have to be doing is getting everybody else in the content. In my head. I could be totally wrong though. You know, you gotta have some kind of organization for what you're doing. Validus, I will say, very organized from what I've seen in a year. Now we're talking a guild that's organized when the game's not even out, which I think is actually more respectable than the game is out. You know, it's hard to keep people interested when you can't even play it, you know? Ashes is 2 something years out. Some people won't even worry about trying to jump into a guild until they turn the actual game on, you know? I think that's actually not the way to do it, just because you could build a relationship with people before you even get to these games. New World Open Beta is just around the corner, and that gives a lot of us at Validus an opportunity to play the games that we're looking forward to, like New World, Ashes of Creation together, build that relationship, make the guild bigger. Content for guilds. Some things that I've liked in other games. Destiny 2 had a clan system. It's kind of like a guild system. Whereas your members did something. Say you did quests one day. We're earning XP and it was leveling up the guild. And as the guild leveled up, you got perks for that season. The season could be any amount of days. I think it was like 90 days or something. So it might be like a bonus loot drop from raids and blah blah blah, and maybe a couple loot drops if you guys hit max level. Some shaders for your armor, you know, some of the cosmetic stuff, just kind of like you know, show that you got a guild that's actually doing stuff. I like that one. Neverwinter had their strongholds, and that was I liked that too, because it's basically, think about it like a guild castle, like what we're seeing in the video right now, but then all of the buildings that you have inside your castle walls, you're leveling up. As you are leveling up your guild, you're also getting perks. So your guild boons, you can have one that increases your power, your defense. You get 3 of these, you know, so you get an offense, a defense, and a utility boon. Everybody would have the same opportunity to do those, but you'd level up your castle, stronghold as Neverwinter calls it, and then you would get your boons, and then your boons would actually get more proficient as your level went up for your boons. I liked that system. One I didn't really like was Blessed Unleashed. I think that game was kind of so-so to begin with. Didn't really catch my eye all that much. Black Desert Online, I never played that long enough to get to where I thought about jumping into a guild. I played it on Xbox, not PC, because I didn't have a PC at the time, obviously. It was just poorly optimized for Xbox. It may have been pretty good on PC. I never tried it out, you know. But it seems like with New World, guild's gonna be big. They're actually called companies. And then they got the factions. In Ashes, you got your guild, and then you got castle sieges and node sieges. I mean, right now this is open PvP. I think this video right here is 150 versus 150. You're not even seeing everybody attacking right now. Just think about this here. You got trebuchets blasting down your castle walls. You got people running all over the open battlefield. You got people going and killing dragons to get buffs for their people attacking on the ground. Say you got that one badass castle out in the middle of nowhere, and you know, you got some big D guild. Your guild leader, I believe, like your castle owner, like the biggest guy in the group, whoever you nominate king or something like that, you can actually get like a large flying mount dragon that can come and fight in these battles that does attacks. Like, I was kind of hoping that they'd show one of those here pretty soon, but you know, we'll see. Maybe that's something we'll see in Alpha 2. As far as like guild content, for me, like what I like to do, I'm more of a PvE player myself. I dabble in the PvP. I haven't played an MMO where the PvP's been all that good though. So like New World, they got some content that, like the fort sieges, I think those will be fun. You got the fort, you got an attacker and a defender. Attackers obviously try and claim the fort, defenders defend the fort and try and run the clock out on them. So I think that'll be fun. Especially when it's the sword, shield, magic type game with muskets and bows, which I also like. I really like the muskets added into New World. I like the first person shooters as well, so it's like, you know, I kind of get the best of both worlds. I get my sword and shield game MMOs that I love, and then I still get a gun. Hell yeah, I'm down for that. Hold up 1 second here, guys. I had some problems here with the chat, I think. Give me 30 seconds. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. It's popping up like chat disconnected, corrupted, or something like that on my side window here. Can't have none of that. Like I said, PvE content is really what I like to do. Past games, Neverwinter. I would go back to Neverwinter a lot because that's really the biggest MMO that I've played that even gets close to what New World and Ashes are. So when I revert back to Neverwinter, that's why I'm using these comparisons, because I don't have anything else really to compare off of. I mean, I guess you could say Skyrim or Elder Scrolls Online, which I really didn't play a whole lot, but I played a lot of Skyrim, that is, but not Elder Scrolls Online. PvE content I like, you know, the dungeons, obviously. If you're a PvE guy and you play MMOs, you like the dungeons. I like the questing. I like the grind. And I hope the grind feels heavy. Hey, what's up, Oath? How you doing tonight? As far as dungeons, I don't like them to be too easy. I don't like them to be too hard to the point that we can't do them. I've had, back to Destiny, you know, you do a raid for the first time. I had a solid group of 6, so we had the full fire team. You know, it could take us, you know, 3 nights a week getting through parts just to beat the boss for our first time. And, you know, then we get the mechanics down and we learned it, and then you get better every time you do it. That kind of stuff's okay with me. I don't mind working on it. Like, I feel like some of your lower skill gapped people would get deterred away from that. How was my day? My day was pretty alright, man. This was a long, rainy, muggy day at work. That's about all. Got home, cleaned up the house since I'm leaving for the weekend, and then ate some supper and passed out on the couch, to be honest. I was tired. I talk about some of the content from like Neverwinter and some of the PvE content being too easy. One thing I used to think really heavily about Neverwinter, and I had a big knock on it, was the questing was grindy as hell. But instead of making it more difficult, all they did was just add, you know, 3 extra enemies per mob as you got to higher levels. And it didn't feel like the difficulty got better, it just felt like the nuisance got larger, if that makes sense. Which I wasn't super into. But like, dungeons are definitely my biggest thing. Didn't solve the problem? What problem there, Oath? Watching this crazy ass fight. Keep in mind when you're watching this video here, all of this particle light going off, it will not be that crazy when the game comes out. So when you're thinking to yourself, man, how am I going to be able to see what the hell I'm doing? It's still going to be a lot, but it's not going to be as close to as flashy as that is right now. And they've talked about that. Adding more to grind instead of mechanics? Yeah. No, I think that's... You wreck your questing like that. And that was just questing, you know? I don't think a game like Neverwinter was all that hard for questing. I don't even really think any of the MMOs I played have been hard for questing. Because it's not end-game content per se, I guess you would say. I could be wrong on that. It's more for like progressing and, you know, milestone testing. Like which, man. If anybody's ever played Genshin Impact, they kind of had like a cool kind of like deal for like testing you wherein you hit a certain level So like, when you hit level 25, they would have a quest that they would give you where you do like this little dungeon basically. And I have a couple rooms and then I have a couple boss fights. And then if you could beat that, like you were basically good enough to start progressing to your next 5 levels. But if you couldn't, like that would tell you something, you know, like you need to go out and you need to get better stuff, you need to get better artifacts, all that kind of stuff. Like I like that because it gave you some challenge and it made you feel like, you know, I haven't just been progressing through this easy ass game. I've actually been making some steps into improving myself on it. There's that one quest every so often that you just can't seem to figure out. Yeah, sometimes. It's funny too, like when you got the games where it'll be like, go find this. It's like, alright, and you're there, and they'll have the breadcrumbs and all that, and they'll have the sparkly deals. Like I had this on a Neverwinter episode. I just could not for the life of me find it. Shows you where it is on the map and everything. And you just feel like you got the lowest IQ on video gaming of all time. Visually what we're watching here looks great. Yeah, no, we talked about that, like, this is pre-Alpha 1. I believe. This is from quite a while ago. But like, I don't know about you both, but like if the dragons and all this kind of looked like that, coming into Alpha 2, I'd feel pretty good. Like their game, just from the last video we watched, it was already like a dramatic increase. Like you can see on his armor how it looks kind of like not as flashy as the armor he had on our last review video from last week. Must be Steve's 4K. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's running a 1080 Ti if I remember correctly on 4K. Like the stream should be showing up in 1080 for you guys. So like it's not gonna look crazy amazing by any means. What's your thoughts on since you just jumped in here, Oath? We talked about overgearing and twinking. I don't know if you know what that is. You probably do. You've been playing MMOs for a while. What's your thoughts on overgear and twinking? That would be like if I'm a level 60 character in New World and I want to make another character, say an alternate, and I just give them level 60 armor to level 1 and then boom, they got level 60 armor on. Or do you think it should be, you know, what do you think about that? What's up, Parallax? How's your day going today? It's a big investment for me to twink early game. What do you think of twinking in general, though? I think if it's your second character, it's OP. Yeah. One example I gave is like Neverwinter. Your alternate accounts all have like a shared bank space. So say I get my Warlock to max level and I decide to build a Paladin next, I could buy level 70 armor and weapons and enchantments and all that kind of jazz for it for when it hits level 70. But I still have to get my character to level 70 to put it on, which I'd be okay with. I don't think I've ever played a game where you've been able to go in level 1 and then slap max level gear on and it's just like your max level. Your first character, you tend to push level? Yeah, I would definitely think so. Instead of twinking at, let's say, 29. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, if you take New World, for example, I don't see a lot of alternate accounts getting used in New World. Know a lot about twinking, have a lot of twinks in WoW. Don't know how much about it in AOC, and WoW you can twink at the 9s, hunting best in slot for the 9s. When you're talking about the 9s, you're talking like the level 9s? Like I haven't ever played World of Warcraft. So I'm assuming you're talking level 9. 9 in anything. I got you. Pop up our other video here. I just did that. 29, 39, 49. Oh, okay, so that's how the stuff kind of jumps. This right here is kind of the video from last week, guys. Just to play something in the background here while we're talking. Top twink level before you reset to 30, 40, and 50. Okay, yeah, so just making the progressive jumps. So like, knowing that info right now, Parallax, I'm guessing when you do your twinking on WoW, you're probably, you know, say your max level's 100, you're doing every 9 for everybody. All the way there. 7 and 9, 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, so on and so forth. Set of armor for your character all the way up, that way you don't have to worry about stopping and grinding gear. And you guys are cool with twinking? I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Battlegrounds arena cap at 9, so if you make a tune to turn XP off, get all best in slot gear, then you are the strongest 29 in the game. What? That seems a little crazy. Brings a new aspect for some players. I could see that. I could see that. Use your min-max to be a top dog at that level. Like I said, I guess I just haven't experienced it like that. That's kind of interesting, that system with World of Warcraft. I don't know, like, so when you just go out in the world, do you just feel like you're less powerful than everybody else? Unless you're twinking? You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Only matches you with other twinks? See, now, that wouldn't bother me. It would be like if I'm a straight up level 29 and I'm still trying to level and then I go against a twink and it's like, what the hell is going on here? You know? Just get face rolled by some dude that's been 29 for 17 years. wasn't always that way. By that I mean, I'm just thinking you're saying that you got matchmake with other twinks. I imagine not. I'm sure that's stuff that you gotta think about when you're doing the game itself, you know? Tune up the matchmaking. I definitely think you need to change the matchmaking as you go type deal, you know? Because it's never gonna stay the same from launch to where you're at the time. Shouldn't say never. Typically, it's not gonna be that way. Twink is only really so powerful in the bracket they twinked at. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Man, watching me go gaga over this video thinking, man, these are some damn nice skins. Boom. This month's comes out. Only OP to 28 and under. Okay. So let's switch gears here on you boys. Both you kind of jumped in right at the tail end of it here. But I think it'll depend on how Ash structures twinking. It could be a cool aspect. I don't foresee people using alternate accounts, to be honest. I don't know what your big benefit to that would be. It's gonna be such a big time investment for one character. The only thing I can see is, say you build a DPS and you want to have a support role, just in case. But I think you're gonna have to make whatever you want to make. So like for me, you know, we can jump into our other topic here for ideal classes, because this is a good transition to that. For me, my ideal class is like a short burst, high damage, glass cannon, trickster rogue. Like I like to get in there, get my damage, bounce on out, and that's what I like to do. I also like to get mixed in like a little bit of ranged weapons. Trickster rogue. Rogues are dope, man. That's why we play them. That's why we play them. And I don't know, like in every game that I like, I almost prioritize like mobility and damage over survivability. Like I've always, you know, you got the smarts, you can get it to where you survive better, you know? Like I feel like that's kind of a thing. Like obviously you gotta have some health, but you don't need to be running a rogue with the same health or like 75% of the health of your tank, you know? Like that's the whole point of having a tank. That's kind of why I like having that, because I feel like if I'm a DPS, my job is to do as much damage as I can to that boss when we do an attack phase, a damage phase. then, like I said too, like what I plan on running, and I don't know how well this is gonna work. I plan on running like daggers or like short swords, and then using like some kind of ranged weapon, whether that be a bow, or you take New World for example. I plan on running, you know, either probably a hatchet and something ranged, like a bow or a musket or something of that level. So I like to have best of both worlds, you know, something gets up in my face, I got something for that, something far in the distance, I got something for that. Especially if you can hit them a couple times as they're running to you, I just think it's a smart way to approach a fight. Dodge out of the way, switch to your close combat, start going on them. What are kind of your guys' ideal classes that you want to try and use the most? And like a little tidbit of why. Musket is going to be really good for fort captures. I definitely think so too, Parallax. The thing I like about the musket is you got the zoom on it. One of the abilities is a burn damage on it. The other ability is extra damage for a powered shot. Like I really like just really basic moves that can do some good damage, you know? Both going sword and board. So you did decide to do a tank then, huh? For both games? Or just New World? Great Axe is secondary. Man, when the open beta comes out, I got a lot of weapons to try. New World for sure, not sure in AOC. Yeah, I think it's... I think AOC is definitely going to have some crazier combinations. And we don't know how their weapon proficiency systems are even going to work yet. 100%. That's kind of hard to speculate. Why do you guys like running tanks? What's the appeal on tank for you? I need to see more of the class structure for AOC classes. They haven't put out enough for me to decide yet. No, I agree with that. My outlook on it is, I know I'm terrible at healing in MMOs. And by terrible at healing, I'm saying in a small scale MMO like I've played like Neverwinter, you got 6 people. If I struggle at trying to keep track of 6 people, I can't imagine what it's like trying to do a whole goddamn battlefield, you know? That's just kind of, I know my limitations on that I couldn't do a healer on a large scale, so I'm not even going to attempt it. You know, that might be something I want to try later on down the road when you get the DPS side of it figured out, but like I know I suck as a healer because my mentality isn't I need to stay back and I need to concentrate on the guys in front of me that I'm supposed to be healing. My mindset's more like I need to get in here and beat up this enemy, you know? I've done a little bit of tanking, but I've only done it in Elder Scrolls Online, Blessed Unleashed, and Neverwinter. And I think those are all kind of Oh, you don't have aggro? Press a button, you got the aggro. Make sure you press that button every 3 seconds. You got aggro, you know? Like it was really easy tanking styles. You know, spin him around so he's not looking at your party, all that kind of easy stuff. Still healing 5 to 10 guys. But like, 5 to 10 guys, when you got a bajillion other things to go into, I don't know. Like, me personally, I don't like being a healer. I would much rather be a DPS. Like, what about tank do you guys like? The only healer that I can think of that I did like was a hybrid build that you could make in Neverwinter. That basically, as I was doing damage as a warlock, this is a long time ago. As I was doing damage as a warlock, it was just throwing out burst AoE heals around me. So you were doing like small amounts of heals, but you were still healing. But you were doing, you know, probably 80% of damage of what a normal warlock would be doing. And the other 20% was heals. So I kind of liked that. Thanks, because we get to be up in the front lines. As a guild leader, need to be shot calling, so tanking goes with our roles the best. I could see that, yeah, I suppose. I could see that. So Parallax, you said you typically in MMOs like to be a ranger, correct? Yes, sir. Hey, you're a good man for doing the tanking. There's not a whole lot of people out there that'll do it. Like some of the MMOs get so oversaturated with DPS, it kind of sucks. Like I can see why. It's like healing and tanking takes a little bit more of a thinking process sometimes. Instead of just going in and smacking your attacks on it and going, you know. I'm the mindless trickster rogue out there. I'm just going at her. What kind of content do you guys like to do with your guild the most? I personally like, you know, any of the group content. You know, go do some raids or talk New World, go do some dungeons. What are they, the invasions, I believe is what they're called. Do the fort sieges, all that kind of stuff. You know, the big scale stuff, that's what I like doing with the guild. And then just vibing while we're playing the game. You know, everybody out questing, chatting in Discord or on zone chat or guild chat in game, that kind of deal. Sorry about that, I got a text from work. Yes, it's all about the group content for me as well, building strong friendships and conquering. Definitely. I mean, we talked about it before you guys jumped in, but I mean, MMO to me, video games in general, like that's what it's all about. Meeting new people you wouldn't ever meet. Being badasses at the game you play. And doing it all together, you know? That's what it's about, man. When you're going out and recruiting there, Parallax, what do you like to see the most out of somebody looking for a guild? I'm gonna guess he likes 180 IQ. Gotta have $2 billion in the bank. No, probably not. It's kind of off topic to like guilds, but like, you guys ever played those games where, like, when I just made that reference to what I think Parallax would like, which is untrue, just poking fun. You ever played games where they got like a looking for group or LFG, as they call it, where they're looking for people to join in, and they just make like the most ridiculous requirements to get in? Like you're doing some entry level stuff and you're talking about requiring end game stuff, you know. Like in Destiny, like one of the best guns in the game was the Galahorn. And not everybody had the gun. And there was people that would LFG, right? And like, oh, looking for blah blah blah, must have 700 bajillion clears and a Galahorn. It's like, when you set unrealistic expectations to an elitist level like that, it just wrecks what you got going on with everybody else. Like, just seeing a post like that just makes me instantly know I wouldn't like being in a group like that. Now, if you're a group and you're like, alright, we need a healer, and you're going, must be a healer. There's nothing wrong with that, because you're trying to fill that role in your... But when you're setting unrealistic expectations for your people, group, your party, it just makes you look like an a-hole in chat. Honestly, besides being an all-around decent person and willing to help, I like people that are willing sometimes put themselves aside for the better good of the guild. Then I want the high IQ and full bank account. Gotta check them boxes. It's all about priorities, man. You never know when you need somebody to dump a couple of grand into the guild and get us all the goodies and new Gotta do that pay to win. And feel free to put your input on this here too, Parallax, but like, when I'm looking for a guild, these are kind of some of the things I like looking for. And I know we've talked about this in the past, you and I. Just for YouTube, we'll go over it again. When I'm looking for a guild, you're playing this game from X time to X time. So for me, it's like 8:30 to midnight, usually for me. And then on the weekends, it's a lot heavier. Because I don't have work on the weekends. But I'm also in a central time zone. So I'm looking for people that like playing the same content as me. You know, are they in the same time zone so they can do stuff with me? So there's nothing worse than getting into a guild that's never on at the same exact time as you. And you gotta go to other guilds to do content. Like, that's like two very, very big things for me. Guild's gotta be on when I'm on. Like, not 100% of the time, obviously, but like, there's nothing worse than being like, oh, my guild's done 20 castle sieges, but I haven't been able to do any of them because they all live in Australia and do it when it's like noon, you know? You can't get on at that time, you know, like that would just be kind of sucky. Then, you know, you probably want to be around some people that you enjoy talking to, enjoy playing games with. Probably don't want to be with a bunch of a-holes that don't care about you and just talk smack about you the whole time, you know? Other than that, I think like what a guild leader expects out of you and what you expect out of a guild are pretty close in relation for everybody that is in guilds. I've seen some really strict guilds, I've seen some really laid back guilds, and I've seen some balanced ones. By laid back, I mean like, oh yeah, screw it, just jump on the guild, oh yeah. And then that's the last interaction you have. Or like the strict guild would be like, I was in one in Neverwinter one time. You had to do donations. And the donations were daily. So you had to get on the game every single day and grind out X amount of dungeons and drop astral diamonds into their guild coffer. The rest of the guild had to do that. If you missed a day, or like, you know, you just had a kid, so your wife's in the hospital, or your, you know, whatever, went and had a kid, you missed that day, they kicked you out of the guild. It's like, that straight up happened. It's the craziest thing I've ever had in my entire life. Well, not really entire life, but I'm talking like guild experiences. Like, it's kind of like, what the hell? Didn't want to be here anyways type deal. Yeah, for sure. That's why Validus is your home. Because we are already family and the vibes are great. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, fuck that. Exactly. The crazy part is I messaged all of the officers and the guild leader on in-game chat and then sent an email to the whole guild saying that I was going to be gone, just to make sure everybody knew I was going to be gone for 3 days, right? And then I would make it up after that. I came back 3 days later to do raid content that we had signed up for, because you had to sign up to do raids, which was also stupid. And I was already kicked out of the guild for inactivity. It's like fucking elitist pricks. Those are the kind of people that wreck the games for the community, right there. I won't throw out any names because I'm better than them. They who know they are. And seeing this video again makes me want that terror bird. Imagine my trickster rogue style character in some samurai armor riding a terror bird. It's almost perfect. Have to run to the store, be back in a bit. Alright, man. See you soon. Let's progress over here to new player experience here. We talked in the past about past streams here. Actually, the streamer we watched about new player experience. This is when they brought it up. That'll be at their next dev update. As far as new player experience, what I would like to see is some kind of optional short-term tutorial. Like, this is your UI, this is, you know, here's your bag, and it blink, 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 and then it goes, here's how you get to this, here's how you get to your character screen, here's how you get to your inventory, here's your attack, move, jump, you know, just the basics. If I was a new player that didn't know anything about playing the game, that's the kind of stuff I would want to know. Like, some people can kind of figure that out just by jumping in the game, but some people like to be shown. That way you don't have to try and figure it out, you don't have to waste the time on it, you just want to jump in. I'm one of the guys that likes opening cinematics, but not to the point where it's like 5 minutes of cutscenes, and then you walk around and you walk through a door, and then it's another cutscene. And after that cutscene, you talk to somebody, and it's another cutscene. You know, like, I hate games that do that. But if you want to start the character upload into the world, then have badass animation of where it's panning the world and all that, and showing your character, like, that would be ideal for me. Show the environment, show what the world looks like, make me feel like I'm in that world. Like when you're watching this Ashes video from last week here, like, that world just looks so huge, like it would take me forever to explore. Like, that's what I like to feel in the environment. That's what I like. Driving and I cut out for a while. Hey man, that's Minnesota internet for you. I go to the other side of my kitchen and I lose all my Wi-Fi in my house. We just got done talking to Parallax about guilds and elitists and building bonds on MMOs. We're talking about new player experience again. We talked about this a couple times. I think it's a pretty basic deal. I think less is more. You don't need to make it crazy big amount of real stuff. I think some people need to not be handheld as much in the games. Just kind of, this is the game, this is what it looks like. You feel immersed. And now, here you go. Now you're off. One tutorial or like intro to the game that I kind of liked was Elder Scrolls Online or Skyrim, where you got this little mission. It's got a little bit of cinematic, nothing too crazy. and then boom, it's like, here's the game. You know, you walk out of this door, and then it kind of pans back from your character, and then it kind of does like a quick sweep of the landscape out in front of you, showing you how big that world is that you're gonna be exploring now. And that's it. And then you make the game what you want it to be from there, and that's what I like. And that's very, very similar to what Ashes of Creation is gonna be. It's actually gonna be a lot less than that for handholding. For environments on our topic page, it's really, you know, does it look good? When I walk into a volcano area, does it look like a area that's got lava all over the place, or is it just a volcano and then a bunch of tropical trees at the bottom? You know, like, does it make sense? It's gotta make sense. I gotta be able to explore it, and it's gotta look good. I think that's pretty straightforward for environment. Some things that I really hate is like, not an MMO, but if anybody's ever played Ark Survival Evolved before, walking around on your dinosaur and you just get some weird clipping on some like really unneeded terrain. Like when you eliminate that, it makes your game feel so much better. Running around. Like right here, Steven's running on a terror bird on a dirt road, which obviously is trying to show, hey, this is a very heavily traveled road on this coastline of this bay here. And then you got the trees and you got the enemies off to the side. You can see the volcano in the distance. You can see the waves on the water, you know? The rock formations next to you. There's nothing like big tall rocks all around you. You gotta make your way through this predetermined path, you know? You can kinda go any direction you want from where you're standing right. That's what makes an environment larger, more explorable. So we're talking about content for like new players and all of that. I really like to hear what you guys' opinions are on this one. Whether you're on YouTube or you're watching right now on Twitch or watching later on Twitch, you're in the Discord watching. Quest breadcrumbs. Let me preface what this is. Quest breadcrumbs would be a sparkle trail or a mini map showing you where you need to go. Exclamation points and question marks above quest givers. How do you feel about having that in the game? Neverwinter has a lot of breadcrumbs. You got the sparkle path showing you exactly where you need to walk to get to where you need to go. Boom, there's your stuff. And on top of that, when you get to the thing you're supposed to be looking for, it's got sparkly dust all over it, showing you exactly what you're looking for. You pick that up, you go back to the quest giver, you don't even have to know the quest giver's name, you're just looking for an exclamation point saying, hey, you finished a quest. Turn that sucker in, boom, question mark. You got another quest, boom. You guys like that? Or do you like something kind of like what Ashes is going for? Like, it's not going to tell you what you need to read or who you need to talk to. You kind of need to just kind of go out there and figure that out for yourselves. So again, if you're on the stream right now, definitely type something about that. What you like. If you're on YouTube, put it in the comment section. I'll answer every comment we get here. I'm really interested to see what people think about this one. Oath says, I just like icons overhead. Same. I like knowing who's gonna give me quests. Especially in like a big questing area. I don't need you to tell me where to go get something. Like a game like Ashes. If it's like, go chop down 10 trees, I don't need you to show me a path to where I chop down a tree. You know? But if it's like, go kill this specific, bright red, go pick this bright red flower that grows in the desert. And there are these tiny ass little flowers that you never see, and they're rare spawning, blah 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 blah. Then I could see how it would get a little difficult. Especially if they don't give you a generalized area. But I'm sure they got something in there that gives you some kind of identifier. Or say in the quest journal, it goes, hey, you know, like Neverwinter kind of gives you like a little blurbage of like, oh, so-and-so asked you to do this and go to this place and look at this, and it kind of gives you a little bit more of a description than when they give you the quest. You know what I mean? I don't need a trail on the ground, that's too much. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think there's some people that really like that. I think it makes it easier to speed up your questing. So again, leave your comments on YouTube or Twitch before or after. Throw something in the Discord on Validus or my Discord. I'd definitely like to hear what you guys think of that. And any of these topics for that matter. Next one. Crafting and crafting systems. MMO's gotta have crafting, right? Gotta have some sort of crafting, some sort. That's my personal opinion. You gotta be able to make... I gotta be able to go make potions and swords and cook stuff. I gotta be able to do something that impacts my player. Personally. Now Ashes has got shit piles of stuff you can... I mean, you can make boats, armor, weapons, siege equipment. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you talk about 17 different kind of weapons, and that's not an exact number, that's just a guess, but you know, you're talking about all those weapons, all those armor sets, and then there's light, heavy, medium armor, and then there's all kinds of different ships, and you know, you want to make some cool looking armor, you want to make some dungeoneering armor. Say you're playing a game where it's like you have like armor, what is that, degradation, where it degrades as you're using it and you gotta repair it and all that. So you're not gonna want to be using your badass raid gear, so expensive to repair, while you're going out chopping down trees and stuff, you know. You want to do a set of gear for your questing, a set of gear for your PvP, a set of gear for your raids. I'm a huge fan of making my own gear to wear versus buying or grinding. I typically like to make the weaponry, but the armor I'll grind for. I don't mind grinding for my gear, because it gives me something to go for. As long as there's something to go for, you know what I mean? So on Ashes, if I know we got a Sun Dragon dungeon near our guild castle or something like that that we've been grinding on, and I know that I have a chance of getting a drop at the end of that to make a sword, like I want to grind for that Sun Dragon sword. You know, that's me. But then you would craft that also, so like that's on both spectrums of it. I wouldn't go out and buy that sword. To me, that just wrecks all the fun. I don't like going, man, here's the next best thing, the new best in SWAT. Costs 100,000 gold, let me buy that sucker today. And have the best sword in the game. I like to go out there and be like, yeah, I got that sword in like 6 days, 7 days. Took me, 20 clears to get the materials to get this sword. If you craft it, the grind is in the gathering. Correct. But now, when some of the drops are in the dungeons, and I'm doing the dungeons anyways, I like to do it that way too. Like I said, say, oh, you make the best sword on the server. You can make the best swords on the server, and I know if I go and grind these dungeons out and I get a shitload of end-game dungeon materials, and you can make me the 3 swords I want. I like doing that kind of grind. I'm not as into the crafting it myself, going and chopping the wood and iron ore. I'm not as into that. Just different, but makes gathering feel more useful. I'd agree. Big kudos to the big gatherers, cause I don't know. Sometimes I'm alright going and you got that chill night where you're just kind of vibing. And we were talking about it here the other night. I played RuneScape for the first time. You kind of go into robot mode, then you kind of snap out of it, and it's like, man, I've been chopping up cows for 3 goddamn hours. Or I've been mining copper ore for 3 hours. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, you just feel kind of silly for doing it. A lot of games have drops you need in dungeons in order to craft higher tier gear, so you incorporate both. Exactly. And instead of being the guy that goes and chops down trees, I want to be the guy that goes into the dungeons for the drops. Was what I'm trying to get at. I think I'm just portraying what I'm saying really bad. Like, I wouldn't be the crafter, I would be the gatherer in terms of the profession. So you incorporate both. Yeah. And that's actually something I'm really excited for. It's like, I feel like Validus and Virtue are going to be big enough to where we're going to have a bunch of gatherers, a bunch of crafters, ship builders, the dungeon people, where everybody's going to get some good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. What kind of systems have you liked in the past for crafting? Both. Some systems I've personally liked, even though it was just beta, really liked the New World, which makes me really excited for Ashes, because I think Ashes is on a different level than that. Ones I didn't like, Neverwinter. Hated the crafting. Monotonous, expensive, just overall stupid. What you crafted was not nearly as good as what you could go out and get in a dungeon. And even if it was better, it was much easier just to go with what you could get into the dungeon. What are the crafting systems in games you've typically liked more, and then what are some that you didn't like? Albion Online? Never played that. Hey guys, I'm gonna take a couple minutes here, go use the restroom, fill up my water bottle, and I'll be right back. Been a little bit of dry around a lot of dust here today, so get some water so I'm not coughing in the mic on you all night. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back, sorry about that. I'm a klutz. Started mixing a water packet into my water. I drink these great value like caffeine, no sugar drink packs. Started dumping in my water bowl, dumped it all over my goddamn counter, made a big ass mess. Ugh. Let's see what we got here. I'll be honest, my personal favorite for the economic system, not counting ashes, I'll have to see on that. Yeah, I mean, we can't really count ashes because we haven't played it yet, so I get that. I'll have to check that one out. Parallax went to the store. He said he'd be back. Took a brief second to touch back on Twinking. I was driving and didn't get to say a few things. I believe he asked what's the point or is it worth it? I think if you start a character in an MMO like a tank, you might consider making a Twink as a second character. You would level the alt to say, let's say 9. Yeah, so like, that was kind of the point I was trying to get across too. We did kind of talk about that. You know, if I make a tank and then say I want to make a healer, say, and I want to ship gear over to like every progression, say it's every 9, like you're saying for World of Warcraft, and I want to have armor for every set like that, you know, I'm cool with that. The only thing I wasn't cool with is, say, like they brought up in the dev discussion, some of the people, I wouldn't be cool with you throwing max level armor on, say max level's 100 and you're level 1 and you throw level 100 armor on at level 1. That's the only thing I wouldn't be cool with. Other than that, I don't think overgearing is all that crazy. Level the alt to say, let's say 9 and gear the level 9 and the best gear for that 9. No. Right, exactly. And I think that would work out fine. And I don't think that's game breaking. Because if you're alting, then you put in the time on another character, so like that doesn't seem like a game breaking thing to me, you know. You still had to put in the work on something. Even if you crafted it yourself, you still had to go out and gather it, or you still bought it with currency, or you did something, you know? If you only arenas with that level 19, or a level 9, it will only match you against level 9, so would be the top in the arenas. Yeah, and that's kind of what Parallax is saying too, is like, that wouldn't bother me. Because everybody could technically do that. So if I can do it, you can do it. Everybody and their mama can do it, and that's cool with me. You know, as long as everybody has that option to do it, it's not. That kind of mechanic ain't a bother to me. So give a tank character more options? Yeah. What Parallax and I were also talking about though too is like, say you're playing Ashes of Creation. The time investment on just your main character, if you're doing an alternate character and investing time into that character, unless you got ridiculous amounts of time to play, you would think you would invest more time just into one character to make that character the best it can be, instead of, say, playing 3 characters, having a tank, DPS, and a healer. Alright, where were we at? What? I don't know what you mean. Right on, not like that either. Yeah. I think that's typically what you're gonna find for the average player, I would think. You got the really hardcore people, but I think you got a lot more casual players. Another thing that I wrote down in my notes here last night. Some games are box price. So you pay X amount of dollars. Let's use New World for example. New World is $35 to play when it releases. So you pay that $35, you can play everything that's on the game right then and there. Whether or not they do DLCs and they're paid DLCs, we don't know that yet. So I can't speculate on that. Something like World of Warcraft and Ashes will have a subscription-based model, which means it'll be a monthly payment. So Ashes, as of right now, will be a $15 a month payment to play Ashes of Creation. So that's what, $180 a year, 12 months at $15 a month. So what I'm interested in is how many people are totally against that 50-50 and how many people are just, 100% okay with doing that. Me personally, I'm 100% okay with doing a $15 a month payment. If you're playing a game you really, really like, I think a subscription service isn't terrible. Some people might not be willing to invest the money into it every month, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal to other people. But, change my mind on that, No big deal to you both? The way I kind of see it is World of Warcraft has been going for a long time. And they got all their expansions and all that. I feel like when it comes down to it, Ashes of Creation is a game to us. But to Intrepid, it's a business. Yes, they're making a game, but at the same time, they still have to have money to fund for the servers. They gotta have time to invest into making new content for the game, which takes money. So a $15 subscription from every person every single month should equate to more than what a box price would be. Should. That's if you retain your player base really well, which I think Ashes will. I only play one MMO at a time, and it's usually a big time investment, so I get my money's worth. I'm the exact same way. I'm like an all-in or nothing kind of guy. I kind of like that New World is, the 35, because it's on the cheaper end. And then, if they do come out with expansions, I don't mind paying the money to get the expansions. That's never been a big issue for me. Pay the people to keep up with the next patch? Exactly. Yeah, you want good quality content, your money is an investment into the game at that point, is how I see it. Another nice thing about it too, say you download Ashes of Creation, you pay $15 for that month, so you get 30 days to play it. And let's just say for some reason you absolutely hate it, it only costs you $15. Whereas say they put a $60 box price on it, and you play it for a day, and you're like, man, this game's trash. Now you spent $60 on it. So if you're really worried about the money like that, you know, that $60 would equate to 4 months gameplay. So really, the 15 in a sense isn't all that bad, because there's going to be a lot of people that jump into the game and it ain't for them. And they've stressed in the past too, Ashes of Creation isn't going to be made for everybody. Haven't really specified who it's made for. What I would speculate, who the Ashes of Creation target audience would be. This is a big discussion on their forums on one of the threads. Who is the actual target audience? I would say their target audience is the people that are sick of MMOs not living up to standards of what people want MMOs to be. Ashes of Creation hypes itself up and talks about how good all of these things are going to be and how they're going to do it this way. And talk is great, but they're actually executing on these and they're implementing them. They're making it better, and they're you know, some games will talk about how, oh, we're listening to the community. These guys actually do it. One example, people didn't like the combat, so they changed it. How did they change it? They made it hybrid, so you could switch between, you know, the two types of combat. You know, that's good, you know. It shows they're listening to the community, they're making progress, trying to develop that dream MMO. I think this MMO's got a little bit for everything, you know. You're a big role player, Ashes of Creation could be for you. You're a huge PvP guy, Ashes of Creation's got you covered on that. You like dungeons and questing, they got shit piles of that. You want ever-changing content, their node system's got you covered, you know. They got the whole 9 yards, the whole package. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, you know. And that's what's exciting about the game itself. So if you're watching on Twitch right now or later on, or anytime that you're watching, or you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment in the description about this too. What do you think about a subscription service? Yeah or nay? It's happening, whether we like it or not, but like, what are your thoughts on that? And if you haven't caught last week's video on Saturday, I did a reaction to the video you're seeing in the background right now. This is the August developer update for Ashes of Creation. We kind of go through, I give a live commentary and kind of a reaction to what's being updated. And this is, I hadn't seen the video yet, and we're watching this directly on their Twitch channel to support their Twitch channel, which is why you're seeing an ad right now. But it was a really good update. They got a Q&A section right at the end. I thought people asked a lot of good questions this month, and I like it when people ask good questions and not the dumb questions that nobody cares about. You know, some people, it's like, who cares about this, you know? I can't think of anything off of the top of my head, but like, they asked some good stuff. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. If you're looking for a guild for Ashes of Creation or New World, I got the Validus links in the About Me page on the channel. Jump in on the Discord. The open beta for New World comes out September 9th, and that'll run for 4 days. That'll be a free open beta. So if you're speculating on whether or not you want to play New World and you want to give it a shot and see if you like it, Those are the 4 days to do it right there. I want to say it was a 40 gigabyte or so download for me. Just in case you're worried about space, you could Google it and you'd probably be able to find the specs for that. Ashes of Creation. I do have an Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2 key, so when Ashes of Creation testing phase Alpha 2 is where we get to the testing environment, I will be streaming that. We will be streaming all 4 days. Sorry, I had to cough there. All 4 days of the open beta for New World, and we'll also that following Tuesday be doing a beta review on the open beta. Things that we saw that changed from the closed beta to the open beta. There was a lot of bugs in the closed beta. Things we like, things we dislike, things we took away from the beta. It's gonna be some good heavy New World streaming. It'll be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of deal, you know? And it'll be a lot longer streams. And it'll be more primarily gameplay streams. Where you guys can jump in and, you know, if you haven't downloaded the game, you can kind of see what it's all about. Maybe you're watching on console and you can't get New World, you can kind of see what you're missing. What the PC Nation's got to offer, you know. Then, if you haven't seen anything on Ashes of Creation and you're watching the stream, I encourage you to go onto YouTube and search up Lazy P on Ashes of Creation. It's about a 30-minute video. Gives a really good, just like rough, background to what Ashes of Creation is all about, the systems they plan on putting in. It's a really good video. That's the video I found out about Ashes of Creation finding on YouTube. That's why I recommend it personally. You can also catch Simmerg on times on my channel when I'm not on, he's on. I host his channel while I'm offline. You can go check out his videos. You can jump in the Validus Discords. You'll get posts for my videos and Simmerg's videos on Ashes of Creation. If you haven't made an Intrepid account yet, you can go to my Discord and you can get the link to that website where you use your email and a password. Create a free account. You can also use my code number as a referral code, and what that does is whenever you buy anything for the game, say you buy the $15 membership when it first comes out, and you use my referral code, it'll give me a 15% cut of your $15, so $2.25. And then what I'll use that cash for is when we get something in the cosmetic store that a bunch of people want, I'll give that away on stream. That'll be exclusive to subscribers on YouTube, on Twitch, and then people that are actually in the referral system for Ashes. So if that's something you're interested in and you haven't made an Intrepid account, definitely go and do that. It's no pressure. You don't have to. But it's only an upside for you. Join the family. Everyone is welcome in the community. Definitely. Validus is great. Super chilled community. Ashes of Creation's a long time out, but we're also playing New World. So you want to play a game with people that are new, jump on in right now. You can play some games with us in New World right now, get to know the people, play another great game until Ashes comes out. That's what it's all about. Other than that, I felt like it was a pretty decent stream. We went over this again, was just dev discussion stuff from past dev updates. I just thought would be nice to touch on since we just did the dev update from last week. Just kind of give my outlook and my basis on different systems in the game. What I like, what I don't like, what I've seen in the past. The last one I want to talk about here though is what keeps you coming back to MMOs? What keeps you logging in? No. I get so highly invested. Like I said, you know, I get into the games so much. Like you'd be at work and you'll be thinking, God damn, what am I gonna do when I get home? What am I gonna do when I hop on New World tonight? I'm gonna go chop down 100 trees and, you know, go craft some bows, or am I gonna go do some dungeons? Maybe I'll do some fort sieges tonight. Now that's how you know you're really stuck into it. What keeps me back is the people. Because you really lose the drive to play a game when you don't got the people to play with. And I really feel bad for the solo players that never join a community, just because I feel like they're missing out on the biggest reason why MMOs are so great. Because it's massive multiplayer, not massive solo player. So much more fun when you do it with friends. So I encourage you, if you're thinking about playing New World, really try and go out into the forums. If you don't jump in with Validus, really try and find somebody to jump in with in your time zone that has like-minded things they want to do in the game with you, because that's what it's all about. It's an escape to put your mind at ease, but the friendship and family make it the game. That's exactly what it's all about. Video games are for having fun. You know, you go out and do your life stuff, and then you come in, and then it's like boom, it's like a second life. Like I'm gonna do stuff in Ashes of Creation that I would never do in my real life, and I'm gonna meet people that I would never meet in small town Minnesota. I got a guy that I used to play with that lived in Australia. Played with him for like 4 years. He still texts back and forth. It's like, you know, you ain't gonna meet a guy like that in Minnesota, you know? That's a whole different culture. You learn all kinds of new stuff. It's just, that to me is what brings me back to an MMO, is the people I play the game with. And that's why I'm super, super excited for New World, because I got that great community here at Validus. I got those people that make me want to sign in and check the Discord and do a little bit of chit-chatting, and man, it just makes you want to scratch that itch to play that New World game, you know? It gets you all pumped up. Makes you want to stay on to the wee hours of the morning. It's gonna be great. Well, I think we're gonna end the stream at that here tonight, guys. But again, I'm on Discord, I'm on YouTube. You can find Validus links for the Discord for New World and Ashes of Creation in the About Me page on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's also down in the description on my channel. You can find those there. Or if you go to my Discord, you can find all of the links for those. All of my videos are posted for Ashes of Creation and New World on YouTube. So if you want to watch it later and don't want to watch it on Twitch, they'll be on YouTube. Other than that, though, guys, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You got comments you want to leave on YouTube, or you want to send them in Discord, definitely do that. I answer every comment that comes through. I won't just throw a thumbs up on her. We'll see what you guys got. I'm really interested to see what the thoughts are on everything. So you guys have a good night. Good night, man. Great work. I appreciate it, Oath. You have a good night too, man. And then we'll catch you guys next Tuesday. Peace.